I'm here at the Ubiquiti World Conference 2025.
I had the opportunity to go to the Ubiquiti World Conference in London, and let's talk about it in this video and see whether it was worth going, whether it was not, what happened throughout the day, and some of my key highlights as well. Firstly, it was a very long journey in, so we didn't decide to stay in London. We went in, we travelled in. It took about 2 hours to get there, but we got there in good time just after 8:30. It was a little queue to get in, but when you registered, you got yourself a little bit of swag. So there was a Flex 2.5G that you could pick up, and also you got yourself a t-shirt as well. For the format of the day, there was a lot going on and there was a lot to listen to and a lot of Q&As as well. So we started with Robert's keynote at 10 AM, then we moved on to another keynote from Craig, and then they broke for some Q&A and broke for lunch. There was a nice refreshing lunch that you could go and spend some time and talk to other people, and also the Ubiquiti employees as well, so you had that little gap in there to be able to ask your questions. After that, there was furthermore keynotes which took us to around about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and we had a bit more time for some Q&A, and that pretty much wrapped up the day towards the end. Is it worth going? Well, it really depends what you're going to get out of the day. If you're there to network and meet people, definitely it's worth going. You can have a conversation with a lot of people. The Ubiquiti employees are really friendly and happy to answer any questions, but the reality is there is a queue with multiple people waiting to ask questions, so you might be waiting 10-15 minutes until you get to the person that you want to speak to. If you're an integrator or MSP and you want to learn about what's coming, again, definitely worthwhile. With Robert's keynote, it was perfect. It was a very high level overview of what's coming, and then we had the deeper technical keynotes around the different areas. So again, really worthwhile going if that's what you're looking for. For me personally, it was a really good day. It was very enjoyable, very informative, and I want to thank everybody that came up and spoke to me or said hello or took a picture, whatever it might be. It was genuinely a truly humbling experience. Meeting a lot of you for the first time, where for a guy who's quite introverted, who just sits behind a camera, it's nice to hear a lot of positive rather than the negative that we generally see in the comments. For those that I didn't get to meet, maybe sometime in the next one, and I definitely want to get myself to the one in North America, so hopefully I'll be meeting some of you there as well. I didn't expect to meet many content creators there, but surprisingly, Jake from Short Circuit or Linus Tech Tips, whichever channel you watch him on, so I managed to get a quick photo with him, which was quite cool, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen his content on both the channels anyway. Also, as I mentioned earlier, the Ubiquiti staff are really helpful and they're happy to answer any questions or take any feedback, whatever it might be. They're constantly evolving and improving in certain areas, and you can definitely see with some of the feedback they get that is definitely getting implemented. When you first walked in, there was plenty of products on display for you to have a look at. There was 4 42U racks that were fully stacked. There was all the products from all the lines from Talk, Access, Protect, Network. Everything that they have that they can sell, other than the accessories, everything was there on display. They had computers on the end with the Unify OS console on them, so you could play around with any of the software, or if you had any questions or anybody needed to show you something, you could have that happen just there. Unfortunately, in this one, all the products that were shown to us were all done on the keynote. Speaking of, the keynote is packed full of information. Again, I'll mention Robert's keynote is touching on all the areas, and then the further keynotes subsequently go into a further deep dive into those areas. And you can ask your questions again at the end of those keynotes. So if you have any of those burning questions, you can get them across. For what's coming in the future, we know how all these Ubiquiti World Conferences work. You can't really mention what we've seen, but we can kind of point you in the right direction. I can tell you for sure that there is a lot of hardware on the way. So a lot of you have been asking for a lot of things, and I can't say what it is exactly, but watch this space and you will see it in the future. Ubiquiti are definitely making big strides in the enterprise and data center space, and for organizations as well. We've already seen the option appear around Organization Manager in some sites, so there's a lot of exciting things on the way. For you AV integrators and enthusiasts, you are definitely going to be excited as to what's coming in the future. Software and hardware wise for Unify Protect was always going to come, but again, there's some features in there that I'm really excited about. And you know it's all going to get covered on this channel, so you know what you need to do. Unify Access and Unify Talk, again, there was a lot more in terms of software updates. There wasn't too much around hardware for Unify Talk, but we've just had the G3 phones released. But for Unify Access, again, there's some big changes coming for physical security. The last one that a lot of you are definitely going to be asking about is the Superlink. So we did see a few products on display. We saw the sensor, the environmental sensor, and the door contact sensor. So those were the 3 that we've seen. I think we've seen them in other videos in the past, but those were the 3 that were on display. There are more products coming, and they are coming at some point soon. So again, watch this space as they start rolling them out. The question was asked about the new doorbell. There was nothing really mentioned about it in any of the keynotes, but I'm afraid you're probably going to have to wait that little bit longer. That pretty much wraps up the experience for the Ubiquiti World Conference. If you've got any further questions, drop them down in the comments. And as I mentioned, As all the hardware comes out, I will be bringing the reviews to you and hopefully some tutorials as well. For now, this is InsideWire, and I'll see you in the next one.